what's up? It's Phil from Fibble Exposed. Welcome to part 2 on how to improve your squat setup. So, hope you guys enjoyed part 1. Now I got 5 new fresh tips to show you on how to really improve that setup. Because like I mentioned earlier, we want to replicate the monolift as much as possible. Most gyms do not have access to a monolift. If you don't know what a monolift is, it's basically where you're just unracking the bar and then the machine basically goes forward, so you don't have to walk it out. It basically walks out itself. You just have to stay in place. But most gyms don't have this, so we have to try to replicate that as much as possible to lift the heaviest amounts of weight. So these 5 tips are going to help you a lot. Okay, this is probably one of the most important tips of this whole series, and it's called a 2-step walkout. Now, I know a lot of people recommend a 3-step walkout, and this is a very viable method as well. But I personally like to do a 2-step walkout because it uses the least amount of energy and it just gets straight to the point. You're squatting sooner and it just builds that confidence. Because the longer your setup is, the more complicated it is, and the more you're going to be second guessing yourself, and the more energy you're going to be wasting because your setup's going to be taking way too long. So most people, most amateurs for the most part, they squat like this. They unrack. They take this long step, they set up like way too far away. Now if you're working with 365 or something like that, you could for sure do that. But when it comes to heavier weights, you're squatting over 450 pounds, you can't afford to be doing these super long walkouts, at least if you're trying to maximize strength. If you want to really get the most out of your technique and you want to milk everything, you can't afford to be taking these long walkouts. So, okay, so the smarter thing to do is to do the 2-step walkout like I just said. So here it is. Okay, more of a psychological tip that I tend to see among a lot of lifters is if you set up for way too long, you're taking like a 30, 40, 50-second setup, you tend to miss the lift because you're most likely intimidated and you're just overthinking it way too much. So a good setup, at least in my opinion, if you look at world-class squatters like Blaine Sumners, you'll notice that they set up very effectively, but they don't take too long to get straight to the point. They squat it and it's done. So you don't want to rush necessarily, but you don't want to take your time too much. You want to get straight to it and squat. So you pull those, set up like this. They'll be here for like 10 seconds. They unrack the weight. Then they take like a good 10 seconds before they go down. And you're thinking way too much, you're most likely going to flop the lift. So a good setup will take this much amount of time. Fourthly, you want to learn how to engage your lats into the squat. I see way too many guys missing their lat engagement, and it shows in their squat they're leaving tons of pounds on the table. So if you really want to remedy this, you want to learn how to activate your lats properly, which is basically by trying to spread the bar apart, you're trying to rip it, and keeping the elbows under the barbell. It's going to help keep the chest up, the back's going to feel nice and tight, and more importantly, the weight's going to feel a lot lighter on the upper back, which is going to help your confidence in the lift. Because a lot of time when people miss the lift, it's because the weight feels way too heavy on their back, they're looking in the mirror or something and they get really intimidated, and then they flop the lift. But if the weight feels a lot lighter on your back because your back is supporting it, you're most likely going to make the lift. So a lot of people tend to have their elbows way too back like this, but not spreading the bar apart. So it looks like this. So when they squat, with their elbows like this, they're more likely to round forward. We don't want this, we want to engage the lats. It's going to help us really keep the chest up so when we're at the bottom, we can really fight through it and maintain that integrity. So what we want to do instead is actively try to spread the bar apart. You can already feel the lats. I'm digging my elbows under. Okay, last tip on the list that's very important is head positioning and where you're looking, because this is a very individualized tip. It's going to vary from person to person. You have a lot of elite squatters who tend to look down. You've got some elite squatters who look right in front of them, some who look up. So there's no right or wrong answer here. But what's important is that you do what's comfortable for you and where you feel strongest. So I personally feel strongest when I'm looking slightly up, but you may feel more confident and stronger when you're looking down the floor. So it's going to vary from person to person, but it's worth saying nonetheless. You have to find a worse way. So I'll show you how I do it. As you can see, I'm not looking down, I'm not looking right in front, I'm looking slightly up. So where you see power body, or slightly lower in the mirror, that's where I'm looking. Right where you see power body in the mirror, that's where I was looking. Okay, so there you guys have it. That pretty much wraps up the series of how to improve your setup for the squat and how to replicate the monolift as much as possible. So hope you guys learned something that you could really apply to your training. If I missed anything in these tips, please let me know in the comment section below. I can even make a part 3 if I get enough. But these tips should really help your squat. More importantly, it should help your confidence, because a lot of people, they tend to fail the squat more due to confidence as opposed to actual strength. You just get intimidated, they're looking in the mirror, the weight just feels way heavier, and they just can't really psych themselves up and the technique is just off. So these tips are definitely going to help you out. So hope you guys learned something. See you guys in the next episode.